going to do, what I'm going to share, so just following the theme really of health and wellness and well-being, I've connected so much with you know, all of the presentations so far in a very personal way. And what I intend to do with my presentation is it's a snapshot of Ayurveda, the traditional Indian health system that I'm actually trained in. Really empower you with a vision as to what this health system is, and then also look at some of the tools and the techniques that you can bring into your own life in order to have more balance. And also there's many beautiful self-care tools that you can actually use in this health system as well. So, that's what I intend to do. Page down. Okay, so first of all, a little bit about me. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to stick to my professional career, because that really takes us through my journey of developing the platform and the company that I've developed and the work that we do. When I first trained, I trained as a journalist, and so I was brought up in Nottingham, and then my first professional job, actually, I worked for a news agency, and that took me around the world. So every 4 months I would change country, and you know, for somebody in their 20s, it was a really incredible experience. It was a wonderful way to find out more about myself, to explore different countries, different cities, see different cultures, learn different languages. And my friends came to visit me in Italy, and they were so amazed, and they said, "You're practically speaking the language." I'd actually had 2 projects in Italy, so I was there for 8 months. And it also enabled me to really learn a lot more about myself. So we've been hearing a lot about self-development and self-development practices. And I would say that travel is one of the most powerful ways to really go within and learn about what makes you tick, and really what your value system is. So as I travelled with my job, I would sort of, you know, you could say I was living out of a suitcase, but the company that I worked for, we had amazing partnerships with really fabulous hotels. So life on the outside looked really amazing. I was staying, would be living in really beautiful properties. I mean, in New York, I lived in the Peninsula. You know, and I look back now and I think, oh my goodness me, how little did I value those experiences? How fabulous, you know, because now I've got to pay for them myself. It put me into a world that was new and exciting and quite glitzy and glossy. Now, the other thing about that job was it also put me in touch with very high-level business people. So I was writing about business, and we would interview Fortune 500 MDs in each country, and then also we would also interview either a main political figure. So in 2 of the countries that I worked in, I actually got to interview the Prime Minister. So in Spain, I interviewed Jose Aznar. In Egypt, I interviewed Atef Abeid. And so you're really going into the lives of these individuals, and not only do you see, you know, what their office looks like and what the infrastructure is like around them, you also get a sense of them as beings. You know, I'm spending an hour with this individual, I'm interviewing them, but also what I can feel and what I understand about myself now as a practitioner is actually energy has always been something that has been something that I have felt and connected with on all levels. So even in that job, before I trained as a practitioner, I would walk into a room, you know, ready to interview this individual, and already I was picking up on the sort of a sense of how they felt and what their sense of well-being was like, and I'd look at their facial expressions, and also, you know, many were in, you know, it all looked really great from the outside, but actually I'd also sometimes get a sense that actually there seems loss here. They don't seem very happy. You know, it's really what's going on. So the more I went through that process, the more I actually started to explore this idea that you know, the more that sort of those higher levels of success, there is also lack, and there is also sadness, and there is also an imbalance around the life and how they're experiencing life. So similar things were happening to me during that process as well. So the first couple of years have been incredibly exciting, and then actually as I continued to travel, I started to feel more burnt out. And as I went to the next country, because I was experiencing life at such a level, it actually didn't start to have the same impact on me anymore. And I started to question that this can't be the only reason for existence. It can't be the only reason that we're actually here. So I started to reflect in. And through that process, I asked my company, I said, I was ready to move back to the UK. I've been travelling now for over 4 years. And I actually said to them, there is something in my heart that says, you're meant to go to India. There's something in India that's going to capture your imagination, and it's going to propel you forward into that next stage in your life. And so I took a risk, and I said to my company, I said, look, it's time. I'm ready to go and have a normal life now, whatever that looks like. But I'll stay for one more project. But I'll only stay for one more project if you send me to India. And actually, at that time, India was a bit turbulent. It wasn't the best time to be sending a journalist to look at the economy and write a business report on a macro view of what's going on. And they thought about it, and they didn't come back to me immediately, but then when they did, they said, yes, we are happy to send you, and we're excited about this report. So off I went to India. I spent 2 months in Delhi, and then I spent 2 months in Mumbai, and then I completed that project, and then I parted ways with the company. And now through that process, through the process of travelling, I had already found out that having regular massage and taking regular yoga classes really helped me with my own stress levels. And it helped me connect with an aspect of myself. It just enabled me to still be busy, still be doing all the things that I'm doing, but I just felt a sense of relief when I had regular treatments, and actually when I had a regular practice of yoga. And while I was in India, I took that up a level. I actually was in a city called Pune, where there are a number of different wellness venues and ashrams. And I actually had an Ayurvedic massage just in a side street. And it was so transformational. It really blew my mind away. And through that experience, I felt a real connection with myself. You know, when people say, through an experience, they had a connection with their soul, with their truth, with the divine side of them. That really, that is how I would describe this experience. And it got me really excited about the health benefits of this health system. I didn't, I knew I was having an Ayurvedic treatment, but I didn't understand the technicalities of the system and actually the way that the practitioner was working with me. So that got me so interested. I actually made the decision to stay in India, and I spent some time in Kerala, and I retrained in the therapeutic aspects of Ayurveda. Then I came back to the UK. It took a number of years, but long story short, in 2005 I launched a training program to train therapists and practitioners. I ran that training program around the UK, and then 10 years ago, at that time I was also importing traditional oils from India. 10 years ago we were invited to start to teach within hotels and spas. So basically, from something very organic, from a desire to want to share the healing experience that I had had in India in 2002, has now developed into the company that I have founded and created called Tri-Dosha. And we work on a number of different platforms. So the platforms that we work on, so Tri-Dosha is our training, and we manufacture natural skincare. We actually import the traditional oils from India. We do have a diffusion range which endorses the herb neem. And then my heart and my passion is teaching and speaking. So I do as much of that as possible. I am booked to speak at TEDx at the end of the month. So if anyone's free on the 29th of September, Telford, I'll be there sharing my vision of actually what healthcare could look like in the future. Now, the passion with my work is the sense of healing and sharing the experience, the tools, the techniques of that process. And I also co-founded a project called Unplug Space, which is a platform to spread mass meditation. So 2 years ago, we actually launched the first event in Nottingham in the Old Market Square. We had 2,000 people walk through that event, and we actually had 600 people come together for the mass meditation. It's a free event, and the aim is really to raise awareness of the power of bringing regular mindfulness practice into your life, and in a non-hierarchical way, so that anybody can experience and anybody can actually feel that energy. So that really gives you an idea of sort of how I've spread my work out. And what is my work? So through this process of change and transformation, and there have been many people and many experiences that have come along through that journey, what I realise is my mission is it's very much to preserve and disseminate the knowledge of energy medicine, that actually there's something greater within, that we do have a mind-body connection, and through the busyness of life and the challenges that we face, and and all of the extensions of the way that we live now, we can become quite disconnected from that truth and from that divine energy that we have within. So going back to some of these traditional systems enable us to relearn actually the messages that we knew, when these systems were first, when the concepts of health were actually first being relayed to the general public. And I feel by being able to connect with your energy at that level, you're able to make more informed decisions around your health. And this is really about, it's about connecting health with spirituality. That in the East, we're very comfortable talking that language. When you're a child, you grow up with the concept that I'm neither born nor do I die. We have the idea of reincarnation. When you come to the West, that is a very new concept, and actually we very much live in the present and in the now, so we can't even get our heads around the fact that this might be a potential idea or concept. And I'm not pushing out whether it is or not, it's just the idea that actually we're much more than muscles and tissue, that there is another side to us that is powerful and intuitive and strong, and it is that side of us that actually guides us to make the right decisions in life. It's actually that side of us that can get blocked and cause dis-ease or ill health in the body. And really, by improving those energy centres within our bodies, we're able to keep that energy flowing, and we're able to connect with the right messages that are being shown to us all the time. So that's what the work is actually about. And as I said, today I just wanted to share some transforming practices with you, and these are to enable you to achieve a healthy body and a spiritual mind. So how much have I got? I've got 5 minutes to quickly run through some of the techniques. So Ayurveda is a combination of health and spirituality. It's the recognition that you are more, that actually challenges in your health potentially do stem from experiences that you may have had many years before, and actually there's a manifestation that then continues, and then it may arise in a certain way in your skin or in other systems in your body. And Ayurveda actually it's a whole health system, and it combines diet and nutrition, again something that we're talking also been shared this morning. Diet and nutrition is a very important aspect of it. Herbal remedies, so we'd always treat with a herbal formulation. So it may be that you have pain in your body, but rather than taking a tablet, there is an alternative natural remedy that you can take just to help dissipate that feeling. Also lifestyle modification, so I talked about yoga, mindfulness. By having regular practices in either of these areas, what you're actually doing is you are actually moving your energy systems all the time, regularly. So if anything does get blocked within, the energy centres within the body, of which there are actually 3, it's not going to stay there for too long. If you imagine year on year, if you're not moving that side, we exercise, but we don't consider our health from that level traditionally, and I'm talking generally. I think probably everybody in this room, I'm sure, has that level of awareness and looks after themselves in this way. But it's about sharing that message and enabling individuals to be able to take more responsibility for their own health as well. Again, that's something that we hear less of here in the West, because if any illness does stem, immediately we go to the doctor, immediately we go through into that whole system, and actually there's a lot of things that we can do for ourselves. But it is about lifestyle modification and the way that you strategize that, and the way that you bring in consistent systems to enable you to live a happier, healthier existence. The area that I teach is the massage and the energy-based body work. And with that work, what you have is actually, we have a map. There's a map of vital points all over your body. You actually have 108. And when we manipulate those points, we're actually able to shift blocked energy in the systems. So if you're having that type of treatment regularly, it's a deeply therapeutic way to keep yourself in balance and to keep that mind-body connection moving and keep you moving forward as well. It's also, when we talk about purification treatments, that's another aspect of Ayurveda, but it's traditionally in India, those that followed this health system once a year would go and have a very deep cleanse. Because the same way that you wash your dishes every day, the same way once a year actually just take ourselves off, even if it's just for a few hours, it could be a day, it could be longer, depending what you're able to manage. But it's a way to completely detox and really, really bring out that sparkly side of you again, so that it's infused and it's injected with life. And also spiritual philosophy. So this is, when you train in Ayurveda, you go very deep into the traditional books in traditional medicine, and they're a bit overwhelming, and you have to learn some Sanskrit in order to be able to just sort of be able to go through that process. However, as you go through that process, the depth and the knowledge of health and wellness that comes through is so profound. And certainly one of the things from my own journey that really benefited me, I looked at Ayurveda first from a much more physical point of view. I knew I'd had this incredible healing experience, and I was like, oh my God, I've got to tell everyone about it, because this is where it's at. But actually, as you start to peel the layers off, and the philosophy and the concepts that come through that, you just get so empowered and so inspired by life and the possibility and the potential, that bringing a spiritual practice in your life becomes something really exciting, and something that you can see that bigger picture of actually how your awakening and your consciousness is just connecting with so much more around you. So in Ayurveda, it's very much a big part of the health system. So Relevance today, I don't want to upset anybody with this slide, but I am going to show it to you. So guys, this is about waking up. See a few head nods. So very interesting. Dr. Alan Greenberg is actually fictitious. They actually, this is a quote that's been sort of banded around, in social media, as a retired physician, I can honestly say that unless you are in a serious accident, your best chance of living to a ripe old age is to avoid doctors and hospitals and learn nutrition, herbal medicine, and other forms of natural... Yes. I think everything we're talking about today here, we all know this. We're on this path. But we need more people to know this. We need to be spreading the word and making sure that actually others are empowered as we are. Because actually, the more people that are empowered to be awake and think in this way, the more impacts our society as well. The more it impacts the bigger systems that are in play as well. The more it impacts the food industry, the skincare industry. The more it removes those levels of toxicity that we're feeling and experiencing in society. So it is a cleansing. I look at Ayurveda, it's like this big cleansing. And within that system are all the different tools and techniques and processes that we can play out in our own lives in order to support us through that process. And I'll just very quickly give you a snapshot of how it works from a more technical point of view. So in Ayurveda, we actually, when we look at the body, as I said, we don't see it composed. The muscles and the tissues come a little bit later on. First of all, your energy. We're all energy beings. At one point, we weren't in existence here in a material form. And in Ayurveda, we look at that in the sense of 5 elements, that actually we're a mix of the 5 elements of space, air, fire, water and earth. And we're actually a combination of a number of those elements. So it's not one size fits all. We are all absolute unique individuals. The amount of fire in me is completely different to Galina. Is that right? Yes. The amount of air in Alana is completely different to Anita. So there's no point in giving the same program to everyone, because actually we're totally different beings and we need a different system to support us. So that's the first thing that's really fantastic and powerful about Ayurveda from a technical point of view. And then it just gets better. Because then from there, we actually learn that most of us are a mix of 2 of the elements. So some of you will be predominantly ether and ether, which is a very creative energy. And I've actually, as I was looking at the speakers, I was trying to take a guess of your body type, of your dosha. And I feel that we have, with the speakers, we've had a lot of the Vata energy here, which is that creative energy, which is very much like a download, and you're constantly getting experiences and ideas. Pitta is more fire. It's predominantly a fire energy in the body. So Pitta tends to be the one that transforms the ideas and the concepts and moves them forward, and will experience different health challenges to somebody who has a Vata constitution. And then you have Kapha. Kapha is predominantly water and earth. More, you can imagine, more grounded constitution, very much more methodical. They've got amazing minds, Kapha people, actually. So whatever you tell them, 10 years later it may come up. So just watch out. Yes. I did think bring some forms today, but actually, if you go onto our website, you can actually you can complete the dosha quiz, and it will tell you your constitution. And then just finally, I'm just going to share this slide with you, because I know with timing we're coming up to 3:30 already. But from a health perspective, you know, sometimes we're in balance and everything's great, and then sometimes we're not. And actually, we might see, first of all, we might see some skin problems, or we might feel a headache, or, you know, I mean, we've got so many tummy issues in the West now, haven't we? Every other person has IBS or this or that, and, you know, we're all having to eat different food now. So one of the things I would ask you to do is think about what the elements mean. So it's about how you're experiencing life. And it's about taking that time to actually visualise how you're experiencing life as well. Because a lot of answers are there for you, and it's again taking responsibility for your own health. So if you fit into the Vata category, think about what the characteristics of space or ether are. And then just think about how that's manifesting in your constitution. What does it feel like? Is there a coolness there? Does it feel like there's lots of air in my body? Do I feel a bit spacey? It may be that it's completely imbalanced, and actually it's a very positive experience, and you're feeling very creative, because actually if you think about space and you think about energy flow, that will be a wonderful time to get downloads as well, you know. And actually, you know, those, when we're writing an article, or I know we've got some authors here as well, you know, those are the moments when the right words come into our consciousness. And then when we think about the characteristics of air, how does that feel like to you? Well, just get a sense of how that visualizes around your body. How does it feel? How does the space feel? What are the characteristics of fire? Can you feel that fire anywhere in your body? Do you get any sensations? You know, is it moving you forward? Is it blocking you? Again, the characteristics of water and the characteristics of earth. So it's nice to just sit with those experiences. Close your eyes, spend a couple of minutes just feeling those experiences, feeling the elements, feeling how powerful the elements are on you. Because actually we're surrounded by the elements, and the elements are within us, and this is what we are. And then from that there is discovering the dosha. I'll just show you this slide, but what these doshas look like. So Vata, Pitta, Kapha, they're Sanskrit words, as is Ayurveda. So Sanskrit is the ancient language, and Ayurveda literally translates as science of life, which is quite a huge concept. You know, it encompasses everything, it really does. And you know, it hasn't missed anything out. And the most core concept that really comes from that health system is this idea of these 3 different body types. So Vata means what blows. It's a blowing energy. It's predominantly ether and air. So people of a Vata constitution will tend to experience more dryness in the body. They tend to be more light, tend to be more cold. So they always, you know, always need to be warm. They have an extra duvet on at night. You know, the heating goes on a bit earlier than maybe for the Pittas and Kaphas. They're very mobile. They like to move around a lot as well, so they tend to not sit still. Pitta literally means what cooked, because it is a cooking energy, and predominantly you'll find us as well. So identifying your dosha is a great place to actually start. You know, with bringing in some of the self-care techniques into your life, and then just Ayurvedic self-care techniques. So when it comes to Ayurvedic self-care, it is all about taking responsibility. So it's very easy to go to a coach, to a trainer, to a practitioner, to a therapist. But ultimately, if you don't have a regime in your own life, you'll move on a little bit, but then you're sort of going back to the beginning as well. It's about having that process and bring the tools and techniques into your life so that actually that energy is shifting all the time. It's new, fresh, buoyant, positive energy that's coming in all the time. And that's supporting you in your life and how your life is manifesting. So first of all, are you ready to start listening to your body and giving it the nourishment it needs? So I just want you to ask yourselves that, and just think about where you're at with that. The next question, are you ready to put your health first, sometimes before your immediate case? So what is your priority there? Are you ready to put time and work into healing your body? Can you be bothered? Can you fit it in? We're all so busy. Where do we fit the healing in? Now that's all okay, and we can giggle a little bit. However, if we don't fit the healing in, all us human beings need to heal. We all have experiences, we all have pasts, we all have situations that maybe have impacted our energy systems, and we may not have been in a position maybe at that time to actually cleanse and heal. But the more healing we do, the more it impacts the quality of our life, the more positivity we feel, the more energy we feel, the more just calm we feel with everything, because again everything just becomes guided, because again, you know, the real messages are coming through to you. But also we become in service to others, because actually we have that capacity and we actually have that space to be able to learn and support those around us as well. And are you willing to put a bit more into your self-care practice? This is key. I mean, if you can't fit in the 10 minutes mindfulness every day, if you can't fit in the 1 week yoga class, then you're not really having the regularity that you need to really feel the positive benefits of what this health system teaches us. And then finally, can you take the advice with new openness and receptivity? It may be that you want to go and see a therapist or a practitioner. It may be that they might say something to you that shifts the ego a little bit, and then, there's a bit of a backlash. However, it's there to support you. Sometimes we do need to make some changes in order to move forward. And that's also really, part of that healing process. So, I'm just going to leave you with a daily Ayurvedic routine. It's called Dincharya. I'll just show you the one for Vata, because the rest are on the website, so you can have a look at your own. So when you're following Dincharya, when you're following your own regular practice, these are just some of the key elements. So waking up early, and that means really waking up at when the sun is rising, between 6 and 7:30. Drinking a glass of room temperature water, well, this is for Vata with fresh lemon. It changes slightly for Pitta and Kapha. But the idea is that you're already starting to cleanse the body, cleanse the system, cleanse the soul. Exercising for 10 to 15 minutes with grounding techniques. So this is about letting the energy settle. It may be that you wake up in the morning completely feeling out of balance. You might be stressed. It might be a stressful day. You may have to get on the motorway, drive a long way. Who knows what's going on, you know? Different things going on every day. But just by fitting in that 10 to 15 minutes, it just regrounds you. But it has to be regular. Breathing exercises. So this is where there's a whole series of breathing exercises in Ayurveda and traditional systems, full stop. So, and what they do again is they just release the tension here between the nose and the head, and gives you more clarity. You're not going to experience headaches. You're going to make better decisions during the day. And again, it's another cleansing process through the body. Meditation or silence, you've got a choice there. So either you practice meditation for 5 or 10 minutes, or you sit in silence. And we can, if you drive to work, you can sit in silence for work. You don't need to put the radio on. You can just enjoy that time with yourself. Many clients of mine, they say, I can't be by myself. Silence isn't for me. I'm always busy. I'm always with other people. That's all great, actually. Just by fitting that in, what you do is you enable yourself to reconnect with yourself. You give that moment to just take a deep breath and feel empowered and just regroup before you go out again into your busy lives. Tongue scraping. So are you all familiar with tongue scraping? Yeah. Again, just one of the cleansing tools and techniques that we use in Ayurveda. And Amazon.com, if anyone's looking for a tongue scraper.
eBay too.
eBay too. And then self-massage. So self-massage is really key, again, just to removing toxins in the body and helping with the healing process. And it's a great way to nourish the tissues as well. And also, if you're using 100% natural oils, they're going much more deeper into the skin system, so you're getting all of those amazing health benefits as well. Okay, so we've got the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Watch the time.
Yeah,
so,
no,
yeah, okay.
that's it. We're done.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. Okay. Any questions at all? Because I'm going to pronounce it wrong again. Can you say the word? What is it?
Oh, Ayurveda.
No, I'm not going to attempt it. So I'm not going to attempt it, no. So thank you. Spirituality comes a lot into it. And spirituality is not religious. I'm not a religious person, but when you think spirituality, you think religion. But it's not. It's a lot more to that. So thank you for that. Is there any questions for Sunita?
Just a quick one. What do you think of oil pulling?
Interesting. I mean, I think for some people it works and for others it doesn't. Yeah, quite neutral with that really. I think if it's something that feels, it's a nice way to, cleanse, but it's if it works for you. Yeah, I'm not so rigid on it. Yeah.
Coconut oil or something like that.
Yes, sesame. Well, sesame oil is very good. Yeah, sesame oil is probably the best, most rejuvenative as well. Yeah, but coconut oil is fine. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you so much, Sunita. Thank you very much. Thank you.